hadn't won a final in a number of years. They got the double chance and they take on Geelong in the second qualifying final to begin the 2017 final series. Let's see how the Tigers went against the Cats.
More than 95,000 piled into the MCG, with both Richmond and Geelong fans confident their side could progress through to a preliminary final. The Tigers hadn't won a final since 2001, but Damien Hardwick's men looked at home on the big stage from the opening bounce. They dominated the first quarter with their frenzied attack on the ball and the man.
But they get that turnover with Asprey, able to send it to Floston now. He's got a wall of players in front of him. Revolt couldn't quite get a run at it. Oh, he's done it again, has he? A miracle, man. Townsend gets the opener.
High footy here. Castagna flew off hands. Prestia, great little touch to Rewalt. Mackie right on his tail. Rewalt centering ball. There's Martin. He too plays on. And Caddy gets another opportunity. So now Caddy, just for the second goal of the quarter. No, pocket. Have a look at it. Have a look at it in the pocket. Who's that standing there? Prestia, I think it was. Now the ball hits the deck. Opportunity for the Tigers here. Murdoch under pressure. Little handball by Castagna. Rioli's there. Castagna went back and got it again. Snap by Butler. The three smalls combined. Butler, Castagna, they're all there.
The only thing that kept Geelong in the game was Richmond's failure to convert its dominance on the scoreboard. And it looked like the Tigers might pay a heavy price for its 3-7 return in the first half when the Cats levelled the scores midway through the third term. If Richmond carried any final scars, this was when they would have surfaced.
He's hit it well. That is a good. That is a great kick.
But the Tigers piled on 10 of the last 12 goals to stamp their authority. Dustin Martin underlined how his mix of brute force and class is tailor-made for September. The Brownlow medal favourite had 28 possessions, 9 inside 50s, and a game-high 6 score assists.
Have a look at this. What a goal. Martin to Revolt. That's as good as it gets team-wise. And getting on the end of it is little Prestia.
Need a clean pick up here from Rewald. Couldn't quite do it. Muston, Dusty Martin with the stiff arm again. Did well. They slide in every direction. He's got this online. Grig's got a mark. Turn and goal. Talk about class of Dusty.
Just well done, Townsend. Rioli, Graham to Lambert, and Lambert might have finished it. They are on their way to the preliminary, I reckon.
Captain Trent Cotchin set a ferocious standard, supported by the likes of Alex Rance, Dion Prestia and Kane Lambert.
What a pick up from Cotchin. Left foot snap. The goal of the game. Trent Cotchin. Look at him get around him.
The 51-point final margin broke a 13-match hoodoo against the Cats, but more importantly, put the Tigers a step closer to that last Saturday in September.
Well, terrific win. It's the first win. In fact, I think I'm right in saying this, Richo. The last time Richmond won a final, Danny Frawley was coach and you were playing back in 2001, a semi-final win to go into a prelim.
Was that 1891 or 2001?
No, 2001. 2001.
It was a long,
like a long
mate,
time
it was a long time ago,
Yeah.
a long time ago, and it was just great to see Richmond firstly in the top 4 and to win a final against a team like Geelong that have done it so many times in recent years. That's when you knew, hey, this team can do it. And it was actually the first game for the year that I'd worked at a Richmond game, actually sitting down on the boundary line, Rancy, and just sitting there that night, seeing you guys, how you talked about your connection, that was something that hit me like a ton of bricks that night, just the way you communicated and connected on the ground. And that's when I really knew that this team was the real deal.
We did really start, in this game, we did really start to build that connection. And you have that personal connection, obviously, off field. But then when you're on field and you look back, and you hope that someone's there and they're exactly in the position that you need them to be, that's when you know we're on here. And so there was multiple times throughout the game where I'm usually the last line and thinking, I don't have much help here, and there was someone there, and there's someone that's preempted the move that you're going to do. That's a connection that you're talking about.
Led by a captain who had a great year, Trent Cotchin's performance in this particular game, and carried it through the home and away and right up to the grand final performance. His leadership was outstanding this year.
Can't be understated. His impact on the group, not only as a leader, but even in game. That goal is one of the greatest goals I've ever seen. To be that clean below your knees, spin out of a tackle and execute, and rightly so celebrate the way he did, because unbelievable his leadership this year. And I'm so glad, especially after how questioned he's been over the past few years.
I think the third quarter, against the Giants, I think we'll probably have a look at that in a minute, but he was outstanding.
Yeah. You lined up against Harry Taylor, who is a defender himself. He's been known to go forward and kick goals, but you had a pretty good night that night against Harry Taylor yourself.
Yeah, it was nice to get a bit of redemption back, because I was quite filthy on the game that I played down at the Cattery, and so, but it didn't come off the back of me playing any better. I won a few more one-on-ones, but it came back to that team connection. I felt safer to be able to read the play and come off and impact on other balls and play my natural game, rather than be a little bit, do I engage, do I come over the top and spoil? So it made me far more confident to go and play my game, because we had that connection.
You're dominant in that opening half, but a bit inaccurate in front of goal. Were you worried about that?
It's hard for me to say. I don't really have that perspective, because I'm pumped. The ball's in the forward half. Keep it in there. So you boys just keep kicking as many points as you want, as long as it's staying in there.
Richo, as a Tiger fan, were you worried?
Well, you do get worried, don't you? You know what footy's like. And when the team starts missing, the pressure builds onto the next guy and the next guy, and it goes through the whole team. So you do wonder, especially a team like Geelong, when you've got guys like Dangerfield out there who can suddenly turn it on and kick 2 or 3 goals very quickly. It does worry you, yeah.
You booked yourself into a prelim final. You have another week off. What was the feeling after the game in the rooms?
The youthful excitement that we did have throughout the whole season, I guess, really bubbled over in that game. That you beauty, we've won a prelim, well, we've won a final. We hadn't won a final up until that point. No one had.
Did you feel like the monkey was off the back a little bit? Because 3 elimination finals and the pressure was on. You did have the double chance, but it would have been building if you lost that game.
I think it was, without being conscious of the history and all that kind of stuff, and talked about the Geelong rivalry and all that kind of stuff. There was probably a lot of monkeys that were just going flying off the back at that stage. So then we could just start to play with a lot more enjoyment and gay abandon, which was even more fun.
Well, a prelim final against the Giants awaited the Tigers. They had a week off. The Giants came to the MCG. And I must admit, Richo, 3,000 Giants fans travelled down. Some people thought that the MCG may not be packed. It was jam-packed. 95,000 people fronted up. Before we get your thoughts on a great preliminary final, let's have a look at what the Tigers did to the Giants in the prelim final.